Hello and welcome to the Digital Classroom. I am Jimmy Benedict here with more tools and techniques for the digital curriculum. Today I want to take a look at a program that I think you are really going to like. This is one that I have used for a while and I think it's going to be great in your classroom. In fact, it's a program that's so good that I started asking myself, why have you not been using this program the entire time that we have been using remote learning to a certain degree? And honestly, I would love to say that this was one that I had been incorporating the entire time, but a lot like you guys, I was starting to get overwhelmed with the amount of technology that I was trying to incorporate in class. And it was just becoming, it got to a point basically that I was trying to figure out how many different programs can you implement at one time, either in one lesson or in one unit or one quarter, whatever it is. There's only so much that you can throw in. But the good news about this program is that you can implement this into any type of digital instruction. And that means that if you are in a traditional setting, or what we would call more of a blended setting where all of your students are face-to-face, and you are using technology, this will work. If you are in a hybrid or fully remote setting, this will work there. And it's a program that I think offers a lot of flexibility. It is very easy to use, and it gives you the chance to monitor student progress, which is a big deal. Not just during this time, but really anytime. You should always be monitoring student progress during your lessons. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you here today so we can take a look at this program. What we're going to be looking at is a program called Microsoft Forms. This is easily found at forms.microsoft.com. It is a web-based program, so you're going to find it on the internet. This is part of Office 365. If your school is a Office 365 school, this is going to be a really easy integration for you. If you are not an Office 365 school, but you have access to a Microsoft email, that's Outlook or Live, or if you can believe this, if you have your Hotmail account from 1999, you have access to Microsoft Forms. It is part of their login for that, but you do have an easy access to it. So everyone has access to Microsoft Forms here. This is a competitor to the Google version of this. There is a Google Forms. I prefer Microsoft Forms, not simply because I dislike all of the Google Suite stuff, which I do, but I think this one's a little easier to use, and I think the quiz feature in here is a little bit better. So I think for a teacher standpoint, you are going to like Microsoft Forms. When you begin to set up your Microsoft Form, you have two options. One is to set it up as a new quiz. The other is to set it up as a form. A form is basically a survey that you are setting up. So this is a great review if you don't want to assign points for it, if you just want to use it as a discussion starter, if you just want to use it to track what students know, then this would be a good way to get that information. And so we're going to click on form for now, and we'll take a look at the new form first. You'll want to title this. You can be very specific with a topic that you're talking about in class, or you could simply put a date on there and make sure that you know when you are going to use this. So we're going to add a new question, and to start, we have several options. You can do a multiple choice question, and these are great for review. These are also great discussion starters depending on what you're trying to accomplish. If I were doing a review question though, I could do something like this, and I can throw this question out there. So the students are looking at this. And right now they only have one option. This is what's called a toggle. So this little circle means that they can only select one. When I'm working on this question, if I have a 3-part question, or which of the 4 elements out of the 10 are part of this system, or whatever it is that you're working on, you can allow them to do multiple answers, and this will give them the chance to check all that applies. So you can see that it's switched to a square here. When you go into a preview of that, here's what the difference is. Right now I could check all of these versus if I set this up as just a one answer when I go into the preview, every time I switch my answer, it turns off the other one. So it works out either way, depending on what you're trying to accomplish in class. And of course, there are benefits to both types of those questions in a classroom setting. You can also add a text-based question. So this would be more of a long or short answer question. You type in your question here, and then this is where they're going to respond. If you want to do long answer, it just gives them a little bit more room. You can also do a rating question. So if you want to find out their level of understanding or how much they like a particular thing, this can go from anywhere from 1 star. This can go anywhere from 1 star up to 10 stars. You can also just change that to a numerical value if you would like. And you can throw in a Likert scale question. And this is the strongly disagree to strongly agree. If you want to find out their opinions on a particular topic for discussion, again, that would work out really well. Any question that you would like, you can make required, which means that before the students can submit, they will have to put something in the response area. But if we look at our preview now we have all of these questions here. And of course, anything with the red asterisk next to it is going to be a required question. If you'd like to do a quiz format, you have access to all of the same options. We're going to go ahead and give this a title. And you can add a longer description if you would like. And again, I'm going to do this as a multiple choice question to get started. In the quiz feature, we want to add points to this. So however many points you want this part of the quiz to be worth. And you can select the correct answer on the right-hand side. If you want to do multiple options, then you can have multiple correct answers as part of your quiz, and it will give them the toggle there or the checkbox there for that. And we can do a text-based question. This is one of the areas where I think Microsoft has an advantage over Google, and that is offering math questions. So I've added a second question here, and I'm going to come over here to these 3 dots, and I'm going to click and choose math. So now I'm able to type in a math question. My instructions are going to go in the first line, and then I'm going to enter my equation here. And you get a lot of math equations. I'm not even going to pretend that I understand what most of that means because I don't. But I can do simple math like 2x plus 10 equals 20. And I'll click OK. And so there's my equation. And then I have to provide a correct answer so that this can be graded when the students take the quiz. And I'm going to make this one a required question also. I can set up my math question as a multiple choice question also. In this case, I'm going to just say solve the problem. And I'm going to do one. This is one that I know is causing the internet to lose its mind right now. And I've got all the math symbols here, so I can put 8 divided by 2 times 2 plus 2. And people are getting crazy over this because of the order of operations, so I'm going to click OK. One of the things that I like with this is that Microsoft is offering the answers here for you. And so they've given you 16 as one of the options, which is the correct answer. And then I could throw in some of these others. I am going to make sure, though, that I put my own option in here. I'm going to put 1 because I know that's one of the common ones that comes up in this discussion. And again, it's already selected the correct answer for me, so that's what I was hoping for. When I do a quiz, I can have the quiz shuffle the options for me simply by clicking on these three dots and choose shuffle options. When it comes up for every student, then they're in a different order and the kids have a little bit more difficult time looking off of somebody else's computer while they're taking the quiz here. So I have a 6-point quiz. The default stayed at 2 points for all of my questions. And I am ready to go. So I can preview this quiz. And I can see exactly, does this look like how I want it to look? There is one thing that I would like to add to this, and that is, I think it's important that you add an option for them to put their name. So I'm going to turn the math off on this. And I am going to ask for last name, first name, and I'm going to award this 0 points. So I just take the points off of there. And I can move this to the top by clicking this up arrow, and I can move it into place. You can start your quiz with that obviously as well. So now I've asked my question. Here we go. Last name, first name. So when I respond to the quiz, and I'm going to get this one wrong just so you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and submit my quiz, and it will tell me, thanks, your response was submitted. I can view my results as for the test, and I got that one right, so 2 out of 2. I got this one right, 2 out of 2, and then this one, it lets me know you got that wrong. Here's the correct answer, and this is what you did. So you can create some discussion even out of this. From your standpoint, you can start to see during class, these are updated instantly, where you can see what the average score is. You can also see how many kids are answering each option. And of course, if I were to answer something other than 5, you would start to see some of these other options come up. And you can see how many answered with these different options as well. And you'll get nice charts for that. You can also download this as an Excel file. And when you open this Excel file, and you will have access to the email address and the name. This is, I'll show you where this comes from in just a second, but you can see the total points. Then this is the question that I asked. And if I scroll across, I can see how each student answered individually. And that makes it really helpful in your classroom so that you can see where students are succeeding and where they're falling short. Let's talk about sharing this with your students now. So we've written our quiz. Here it is, or if we did our survey, it works the exact same way. We're going to come over here and click on this share button. And we have a couple of options here. If you are an Office 365 school, then you might want to just leave this with only people in your organization can respond. If you do that, this will automatically collect data about emails and names for you. So if I click on the preview, you can see right here, it says, "Hi, James. When you submit this form, the owner will be able to see your name and email address." So that's automatically populated because they are within your school district. They're within your program that's calculating all of this. If you are not sure if your students are in Office 365 or if your school is in Office 365, then you might want to open this up to anyone can respond. You will have a lot fewer problems as far as students being able to access. But when you click on the preview, you can see that message that they're collecting email addresses is gone. And that's where you would want to ask the last name, first name question, just to make sure that you have that record. If you're doing it as a survey, it doesn't really matter if you have their names. You're not going to use that anyway. So we're going to click on this share. And right here, this is the form that we want to copy. So we're going to just keep this link. We're going to copy it. And we're going to come over to our web conferencing tool, whatever you use, whether it's Zoom or Teams or WebEx. You're going to go to the chat. And you are going to paste that link in the chat. And this will show up for all of the students. And then when they click on this, it will direct them right to the quiz that you are getting ready to give them. So again, I can answer this, and we'll just see what happens if I put different answers in here. And let me get this one right and submit. So there's the response. I can see what I got right and what I got wrong. And then as a teacher, you can now look at these responses. One of the things that I like with this, especially the survey version of this, is that none of the names are showing up here. Of course, they show up here, but you can scroll past that, and then you can show the class, all right, here's question 1 or question 2. Here's what people have answered. And here's question 3, and here's what people answered. And here's question 4, here's what people answered, and here's the right answer. And you can do it without giving up their identity. So nobody knows who answered what, just that somebody answered these questions this way. And you can see where people are making common mistakes. And it's just a way of monitoring that student progress and being able to share with the students, here's what's happening. Let's see what this looks like in the classroom. If you are using a discussion-based format, one of the things that I do is share my screen with students. So this is what they're seeing in class. And until anybody responds, you're going to have this that says there's no responses, but this will automatically start to update. And as students complete the survey or complete the responses, you're going to see more of these bars changing with every answer that goes up. And so this again creates a lot of that engagement. The kids are looking to see what everybody else has responded. One of the great features with this, though, again, is that you can see there's no names popping up on here. So student identity is basically protected here because you're not asking for that information. All that's showing is what does the data say. And so that's going to make it a lot easier for students who don't want to appear wrong. They don't want to go against the grain or go against the crowd. This is completely anonymous. And if you're doing it and you're showing quiz results after the quiz is done, then again, nothing is going to pop up there with a name on there that says, well, little Timmy answered this, and you can see how wrong that answer is. So you've protected the students in your class by shielding their identity and being able to show them all of these results. Here's how people responded. And then you can go over right and wrong answers and why this worked and why this didn't. And you can even have discussions about different brands or different things or whatever concepts you're talking about in your classroom. So I really like that option. From my perspective, this is what I look at. So this is the screen that I'm sharing with the students. And then, of course, here's my Microsoft Teams. So I can monitor what's happening here. And then, of course, I can monitor any comments that are being made in the chat while students are looking at this. I always put my survey up on the smartboard for in class. And then the kids at home are seeing this. And I can see what's going on in the chat while they are looking at that. And you're seeing the constant updating. So the kids really get into this. They love to have that connection to their responses. They love to tell you what they think, and they would love to do it in this format. So I think this is one that you're going to really like. But this program has the ability to be very interactive, very engaging. You also have the ability to monitor student progress here. And to me, that might be the most important part of all of this, because then you know where do I need to go back and clean things up? Where do I need to go and correct misunderstandings? And you can do that right away with just a very quick 2, 3, 5 question quiz or survey to help out your students here. Adding programs simply for the sake of adding them into your instruction is not going to be a recipe for success in digital integration. That's not going to work out for you. You can be very effective by limiting the number of programs that you use, but focusing on the ones that give you the best results in class. I think Microsoft Forms has the opportunity for you to be flexible in your classroom, to create some of that engagement, and really to keep track of how all of your students are understanding the material. And that's what we're going for in all of this. Thank you for taking time to join me in the Digital Classroom today. If you like this video, check out my Facebook page at The Digital Classroom. Like and follow the page so that you don't miss any of my Facebook content. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get all of my video tutorials for the Digital Classroom. Feel free to share this video with anyone that you think can benefit from the tools and techniques for a digital curriculum. I'm Jamie Benedict for the Digital Classroom, and until next time, class is dismissed.